Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rahab and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and his only begotten Son, Ba'ashem, and name of Mashiach Kapshah. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, Lash Wakadash Tongue. And I say Barak to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim Wa'akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson of the prophecy updates as of June the 15th. Yeah, June the 15th. June the 16th, 2025. On this, Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. No, Monday. I meant to say, let me take that back. Monday. Yeah, Monday, June the 16th, 2025. On this Monday afternoon. And this is a news article from RT.com. It says Israel renews strikes inside Iran after a deadly overnight attacks. It says live updates. It says the IDF has destroyed over 100 missile launches as hostility continue. It says the Israeli Air Force has established a full aerial superiority over Iran's capital of Tehran. The IDF spokesman, Rich General Efi Devram, has claimed West Jerusalem and Tehran engaged in a fourth consecutive day of intense open warfare, and both nations launched devastating attacks. At least 21 Israelis were killed in Iranian attacks. It says the Islamic Republic claims 224 of its people have been killed, and that 90% of them were civilians. Several launches include the U.S. and Russia has advised that citizens to evacuate Israel and Iran, amending the escalations of hostilities. It says on Friday the Israeli jets bombed multiple targets across Iran, including the uranium enrichment center in Natanz, and carried out target assassinations on several senior military commanders and scientists. Iran retaliated by firing dozens of ballistic missiles into Israel. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu strikes dubs Operation Rising Lion aims to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Iran condemns the attack as unprovoked and suspended nuclear talks with the U.S. with the latest rounds of nuclear negotiations scheduled for Sunday, which was yesterday because today is Monday. It says Israel launched its strikes one day after the International Nuclear War Dog, the IEA, accused Iran of violating the non-proliferation obligations. Iran rejects the allegations as a political motivated. It says although the U.S. insists that it was not involved in President Donald Trump's endorsement of the Israeli operation, Russia condemns Israel's initial strikes on Friday and called for a de-escalation on Saturday. President Vladimir Putin spoke with the U.S. President Donald Trump by phone and to agree on the possibility of restarting negotiations over Iran's nuclear program, according to Putin's foreign policy aide Yuri. It said Yuri Ashokov. And this is latest updates, June the 16th, 2025 at 19:20 GMT. It says Iran warns Israeli news channels to evacuate their permits after West Jerusalem attacked buildings belonging to the Iranian state TV. This order comes in response to hostility of the small hats enemies against the Islamic State Republic of Iran's broadcaster service. The Time of Israel said, quoting the Iran state TV. It says Iran's newer news report that Tehran has shut down an Israeli F-35 fighter jet near the Tabriz, if I pronounced that right. It says, however, the Israeli military claims it has no knowledge of such a incident. The Time of Israel wrote, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told the ABC News that he doesn't rule out the killing of Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. It says one asked about the reports that is U.S. President Donald Trump rejects Israeli plans to the lead Kamali, the leader of Iran, the supreme leader. Netanyahu says it's not going to escalate the conflict. It's going to end the conflict. It says the forever war is what Iran wants. As they were bringing the brink to the brink of nuclear war. In fact, that Israel is doing is preventing this, bringing the end to this aggression. And we can only do so by standing up to the force of evil. Really they the ones that's the force of evil, because they the ones that strike Iran first, just like they did previously. So that's kind of hypocritical on Benjamin Netanyahu's side, as I mentioned it. It says, ask if West Jerusalem would indeed target the supreme leader Netanyahu. It says that he was doing whatever he needed to do. It says 1624 GMT time. It says the U.S. President Donald Trump stated at the G7 summit in Canada that he believes Iran wants to de-escalate the conflict with Israel, noting that Iran is not winning this war, as quoted by last time I checked, Tel Aviv was getting bombed the hell back. It says, speaking about the canceled U.S. Iran nuclear talks, that their future to produce a agreement. It says Trump claims that Tehran should have done that before, adding that both parties had 60 days to negotiate. And on the 61st day, I said, we don't have a deal. They had to make a deal. It is painful for both parties. It's really painful on on Israel's side, because they were so anxious to strike Iran. So you got to really put that blame on Israel, the Israel Defense Force. You got to put the blame on them, not Iran. It says but says Iran is not winning this war, and they should talk. Well, they might win the war because they got allies. They got China, Russia, North Korea, the pro-Iranian groups. They got allies. So keep that in mind. I just want to add a side to that. It says Trump also refused to say what could prompt the U.S. military and get involved in the conflict. We always support Israel. We have for that's why they're gonna get tag team. They're gonna get tagged in the war of the ongoing tensions that they have against the pro-Iranian groups in Iran. While you have this ongoing Iran war is heating up, because all these nations are going to get involved in this. That's only going to lead up to the Third World War. It says Trump also refused to say what could prompt the U.S. military to get involved in a conflict. We always support Israel. We have a long-term period strongly, and Israel is doing very well right now. He added another update, 6:22 GMT time. It says Iran foreign minister Abalis Arashki, if I pronounce his name right. It says subtly urged the U.S. to intervene the negotiations resolution to the ongoing hostility between Tehran and West Jerusalem. Benjamin Netanyahu is a wanted war criminal. He is he is a wanted war criminal for killing innocent men, women, and children, especially the IDF, the Well Gaza Strip, West Bank, Palestinian territory. He also is a con man. Benjamin Netanyahu, not a Jew, and that is true. It said who has built successful U.S. president into fighting his own wars for almost 3 decades. It says all indications that the proposed Netanyahu criminal attack on Iran, killing hundreds of innocent civilians. It says in a post X, the minister suggested that if U.S. President Donald Trump is genuine about diplomatic interest in stopping this war, the next steps will be potential. Israel must halt its aggression, which they not going to do, which they did previously. They're going to do it once again with their aggression. So that's nothing new under the sun. It's in the absence of total cessation of military aggression against us. Our response will continue. It will take one phone call from Washington took Muslims, someone like Netanyahu may have paved the way for his return to diplomacy. Another update, 15:36 GMT time, is from work police officials in Tehran has received a warning about the impending Israel strike on the residential area where its officials is locating, the video agency said, as a told RT reports. It says the agency's employees are urging being evacuated. There have been no contacts with them since the message was received. Another update, 15:30 GMT time. It says the Israeli military has bombed the office of Iran state broadcast, and I believe it's the same area. Iran affiliates told to them to evacuate the area because they got hit with heavy airstrikes. As you see those three or four video clips right there. And it says the Israeli military has bombed the officials at Iran state broadcast, the IRIB, in Tehran. It says the moments of the strikes was caught live. According to the Time of Israel, the IDF issued an evacuation warning from the area in Tehran where the IRIB's headquarters are based shortly before the strike. Defense Minister Israel Katz then said the Iranian propaganda and enticement mouthpiece is on its way to disappear. It says that Tehran has signaled to Israel and the U.S. that it seeks to end its hostilities and resumption of nuclear talks. The Wall Street Journal has said, citing Middle Eastern and European officials. It says President Donald Trump counterparts G7 plans to press him on his strategy for dealing with Israel, and Iran officials from several delegations have reportedly told CNN on Monday. The conference organizations also plan to release a joint statement calling for the de-escalation. Which this de-escalation is not going to happen. It's going to continue to increase. Is that though there are differences on how far to go and support Israel attacks on Iran, the U.S. network has reported. It says Trump continues to support Israel, but is cautious about any U.S. offensive involvement, which they are going to get involved in it because you had the Israel Defense Force using airstrikes towards those military bases over in Iraq and Syria. So they definitely going to get involved in that. Suggesting that the nuclear talks between Washington and Tehran may restart. Meanwhile, the European officials are seeking a clearest understanding of how long Trump plans to tolerate the ongoing conflict. It says already a difference has emerged between Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron of the world from Russian President Vladimir Putin to play a meditating conflict, CNN noted. They have great inside outside presence. Aaliyah Boston is a double machine. Kelsey Mitchell is an all-star. They have depth. This is a team that's extremely well coached. The sky's the limit for them. It's the book of Luke, Salakia. This is the book of Luke 21 and verse 25. It says, and there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars upon the earth. Expressive nations who perplex Caesar's wrong. Right, as we see in nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, seditions, uprisings, upwards, speaking war, and that all leads into the distress of nations, which is going to continue to see increase. Especially these hostility tensions are heating up between Iran and Israel and throughout the Middle East, which is Western Asia. And this is the book of St. Mark, chapter Salaki. It's the book of St. Mark, chapter 3, and verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, kingdom cannot stand. Right, that's what's saying Iran versus Israel. The pro-Iran groups going against the Israel Defense Force. United States versus Iran, we're seeing that increase. It says St. Mark 3 verse 25, and if a house be divided against itself, the house cannot stand, which we're seeing. It's the book of St. Mark, Matthew's. Yep, it's the book of Matthew's, signs of Mashiach Yahushua return. St. Matthew's 24 verse 6. It says, ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? These are signs of wars and rumors of wars. Tensions are heating up between Iran and Israel. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but then it's not yet. Right, so we're going to see more building up of wars and rumors of wars. But it's going to come to pass, but they're not going to end just yet. Matthew's 24 verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, right? Iran versus Israel, which goes into ethnos, and kingdom against kingdom. And there should be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Matthew's 24 verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Right, so the building of these nuclear wars is just the beginning, which is going to continue to increase. It's going to lead up to the Third World War. As we see all those nations being gathered up over there in the Middle East and Western Asia, all this going to lead up to the Third World War. So it's not gonna settle down anytime soon. Now it's gonna be times where it's gonna settle down, which it did previously, and once again it might happen again, but it's gonna escalate more and more and more, And this is the prophet Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty man. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Right, so that's what we're seeing, the building up to the Third World War. And we see an Heavenly Father putting that warlike mindset on these arms of nations consistently, increasingly on an everyday basis. All this leading up to the Third World War. So this Iran versus Israel situation, as they continue to trade nuclear strikes against one another, and casualties and injuries are heating up on both sides. So escalations are going to continue to heat up over there in that area. Joel chapter 3 verse 10. It says, beat your plowshares and the swords and the pointy hooks into spears and let the weak sound scream. Right, because you're going to have the pro-Iranian groups rise up against those United States armies and against the Israel Defense Force throughout over in Western Asia. And that's going to stir up more tension between both sides, increasing cross-border conflicts between Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, the Gaza Strip, West Bank, Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, and throughout the Arabian Sea, over there in the Gulf of Eden, and over there in the Red Sea as well too, because all these tensions are only going to continue to escalate and heating up. That's only going to lead up to the Third World War, and let the weak stand strong, and that's what we're seeing. Back to the New Testament. Yep, this is Revelations 11 verse 14. The second will pass, behold, the third will come quicker. Right, so the second will pass, behold, the third will come quicker, which is Armageddon, Armageddon 1. Now let's see. Go to the Jerusalem Post.
Make it a cocktail. On the rocks, bartender created cocktails.
Lowe's, you want your first cookout to leave a good first impression. And with convenient same-day delivery, we'll help you make sure everything turns out awesome. Lowe's can help you summer.
This is the new.
So that's the previous news articles.
So ahead of its time, it actually helps you save
time.
If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the number one most popular whole life insurance plan available through the Colonial Penn Group. Options start at $9.95. No medical exam, no health question. Your acceptance?
No, that's man. Oh, what up, man?
So call now for free information. You also get the free beneficiary plan, and it's yours free, just for calling. So call now for free information.
Call 1-800-789-2288 for your free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-789-2288.
Who else wants to catch up? They gotta be warmed up. You want you. You just got all work. Like you said. Well, your man get Mario. Everybody want to catch up. This one, you know what I'm saying? Catch up. And Chuck, get that for your dad. These yours. Yeah, y'all.
Considering I'm also a student on the next a powerful story of women transforming
You see another thing.
and the stars are here.
Come on, there.
Yeah, you see it? You got it.
Just
One more.
Yeah, that's all you pull out.
Who's cooking up a big surprise with Valerie Burnell?
Go on the store and throw it out. I'm going to get it out. Oh, yeah.
We can't wait to see you again.
Wait to see you go. You got your plate?
Yeah, some more. I would get some more too.
And Jaslyn, and I'm going to Jaslyn, amazing. I wrote the Indiana Pacers. What do you think the key to this game is going to be? I mean, honestly, the only predictions I have is that the city's going to be loud, the crowd's going to be loud, and it's going to be amazing. What do you think, Ashley? No, I got to know what it's really fantastic. Like that's what rainbows are. No, I'm very superstitious.
Oklahoma City, right? Oklahoma City play tonight. Slocking for that momentary pause. This is ArabNews.com, and this was published. Yeah, this was published 47 seconds ago from agencies from ArabNews.com as of June the 16th, 2025, and it reads: "It's Salakia. It says the Israel-Iran battle continues as civilian deaths mounts on both sides." As you see in that video clip right there, on both sides, tensions are heating up between Iran and Israel for the fourth time. For the fourth day, the fourth consecutive day, because clash border escalations heating up between Iran and Israel. As it says again, Iran-Israel battles continues as civilians deaths mounts on both sides. It says more kills, more killed and dozens wounded as Israel as Iran fired new wave of missiles attacks on Monday. It says an Iranian state TV and radio building hits Israeli strike. The U.S. consultant in Tel Aviv suffers moderate damages as Iran missiles lands nearby. It says Israel struck Iran state-run television station on Monday during a live broadcast, forcing a reporter to turn off the camera following an explosion after Iran fired new waves of missiles at Israel that killed at least 8 people. In other developments, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that the Israeli strikes had set Iran's nuclear program back a very long time. He added that was not really because you still got the pro-Iranian groups and you still got you still got Iran got allies to help them as well too. He forgot all about that. You got the pro-Iranian groups. Well, you got China, Russia, North Korea, and all these proxy groups and all these pro-Iranian groups. So they got allies. So. And plus, they still got nuclear capability because they haven't used the actual nuclear ones that they use. They were just using their old nuclear capability. So I just want to add a side note to that. It says attempting to top the Iranian government, but he said it will not be surprised if they happen to resolve other strikes. The regime is very weak, which that's not the case. It says the regime is very weak. Netanyahu told a news conference. He added that he's in a daily touch with U.S. President Donald Trump. As he spoke, a large number of explosions were heard into Iran. It says air defense systems are activated and intercepting Iranian missiles over the Israeli city of Tel Aviv amid fresh barrage of Iran rockets on June 16, 2025 from the AFP reports. It says Israel warned hundreds of thousands of people in the Middle East, which is Western Asia. It says in the middle of let me rephrase that. It said Israel warned hundreds of thousands of people in the middle of Iran's capital to evacuate ahead of the strikes against the TV station, which military has provided a cover for Iran's military operations. It says the warning came after the fourth day of the conflict, when the Israeli military claims it has achieved air superiority above Iran's capital and could fly over the city without facing major threats. Which they is, but still going to face it. The warning affects up to 330,000 people in a part of central Tehran that includes the country's state and police headquarters. The military has issued similar evacuations warning for the civilians as part of Gaza and Lebanon ahead of the strikes. Netanyahu suggests killing Iran's supreme leader would end the conflict, which that's not going to be the case because they're gonna throw another leader in there like they did previously. It says Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday did not rule out to plan the deletion of Iran's Supreme Leader Ali, saying it will end the conflict between these two arch foes. In a 20-minute interview with U.S. network ABC News, it says the Israeli leader insists that countries' deadly aggression to defend Iran's was justified, equal to Kamali as a modern day, if you know what, which I'm not going to say. It says, but he asks about the reports that President Donald Trump vetoed Israeli plans to delete Supreme Leader out of the concerns will escalate the Israel showdown. Netanyahu was dismissive. It's not going to escalate. I'm not going to escalate conflict. It's going to end the conflict, he said. The forever war is that Iran wants, and they bringing us the brink of nuclear war. It says Netanyahu said the Iran state TV radio about to disappear. Defense minister says. Israeli teams rescued Haifa after missile strike. Again, Iran teams broke swiftly in Haifa, multiple Iranian missile strikes. Yep, Revelation 11, verse 14. The second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. Right, the second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. So with that, hopefully this sit down lesson was edifying of the prophecy updates as of June 16, 2025 on this Monday afternoon. As we see in the tensions between Iran and Israel is only going to continue to heat up. So it's not going to let down anytime soon. It's not going to cool down anytime soon. It's only going to continue to increase, especially as we see rising tensions are heating up over there, Western Asia, throughout the between the borders of Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, the Gaza Strip, West Bank, Palestinian territory, Haifa, Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, and over there in Tehran, over there in the Red Sea, Mediterranean Sea. So all these escalations are going to continue to heat up between these cross-border conflicts between the pro-Iranian groups throughout that whole region, going against the Israel Defense Force, and Iran versus Israel as well too. So it's only going to escalate. So with that, hopefully this sit down lesson was edifying of the prophecy updates as of June the 16th, 2025, as I mentioned once before. So hopefully this was edifying. And with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Wakar and Barakatham to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim Wa'akraf. Until next time, I will say Shalom.